Restoration.
Hello, we're here once again, and I want to say a very big thank you for tuning in wherever you are watching us from. I'm saying thank you to La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, special ice mineral water and special drinks. Thank you to Yas Washing Powder and Yas Sanitary Pad, to Hooch and Choco Flakes, my crunchiest breakfast choice. I also want to say thank you to GTP for this beautiful fabric, and this is Safwa. So if you're going out to buy, you can buy New Style, you can buy Safwa, or you can buy Adepa. And GTP is celebrating 50 years of clothing everyone. Do you have your GTP New Style fabric yet? Yeah. Or Safwa? Or Adepa? You all love New Style, eh? Okay, so today I'm wearing Safwa, so maybe when you go next time, ask for Safwa. Okay, and thank you very much to you, Nancy Black, for my makeup, to Roji One Hair Studio, Kokompe Eye Clinic, Jemima, thank you very much for my Senegalese braids, and of course to Ophelia of ABS Collection, who always does some beautiful work to my GTP fabric. Every morning, I wake up to a message from my guest on Facebook, and I kept wondering, what is the zeal that drives her to do this every morning? What is the story that gives this passion so much energy? And today, she's here to share that story. Please let's welcome Ashlorm, the Zionist. Hi, darling. Hiya. Wow. Don't follow, I beg, my heart.
Please.
Is that you?
Hi. Oh, welcome, darling. Thank you, thank you.
Have a seat. Is that you?
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, and you?
I'm blessed by the grace of God. We've had a lot of chats. I was very curious. I wanted to know what would wake someone up and get you typing on Facebook when people will be posting pictures of what they are eating or where they slept last night. Yeah. But you make a conscious effort to let us know that the kingdom of God is at hand, and God does not really look at who you are, but will just do what he has to do for you.
Yes, of course.
You tell me you have done everything. That's what she said. She said, I've done everything. The only thing I've not done is murder.
Murder.
That got me.
Murder?
Like, yeah.
I nearly did.
Even that you nearly, but you didn't do, so we will not give you that title, so, I beg. As for that title, I refuse to give you.
Even,
Yes, no, even if it was attempted, but even that one, I erase.
Yeah.
What did you do? You said everything. Alcohol?
Yep.
Drugs?
Yep.
What else? What else? Help me.
Addiction to everything. Sex.
Sex?
You can call it anything.
Wow.
Professional.
Prostitution?
It's not really prostitution. I was just addicted. I think...
you just love the sex?
Yeah, just... due to depression, I got addicted to sex.
Okay, so now let me start from background. There should be a reason for all of this. Where did you grow up?
I grew up, actually, I was born in Nigeria. So I came back to Ghana with my family. And I grew up in a humble family, a very godly family, a Christian background for that matter. My parents were rich, but my mom, I was 8 years old when my mom passed out. She died? She died, yeah. She died of breast cancer when I was 8 years old. So after, that was where life hit me so bad.
At 8?
At 8 years old. I am the firstborn actually. We are 3. So I had to, my dad has to take us to our grandmom to live with her. And living with her in Ho, I started in Ho. So that was where everything started. Life was terrible. At the age of 8 years, 9 to 10, I had to go and crack stones to feed my younger ones. If I don't do it, my grandmother will beat me.
Oh.
Yes. I have to go all the way to Ho Polytechnic behind. You see the bushes over there? Yeah, after Mauli Estate. I have to go there to look for whatever I can look for in the bushes, maybe mangoes or something. I was just running from one house to house, plucking stuff. Something that I can go and sell
just
to feed my siblings and I. I was doing all sorts of things.
But where was your father?
My dad then was in Accra. So he never knew everything that was going on. He never knew. Not knowing, I was writing letters and my uncle was reading the letters and just, yes, please. Yeah.
And he never came to visit?
I don't remember.
So at what point did you decide to take things in your own hands?
Yeah, what happened was when I attended Maoli Primary, Maoli GSS. So we were the pioneers. So when I got to GSS 3, I realized that my dad wasn't coming and we were suffering a lot. And I give thanks to God for Sofo Ameno. There's by then there was this pastor called Sofo Ameno, and her daughter was my friend in school. So after school, she takes us home. And after they finish eating, then we eat the surplus, like every day. Yes.
Wow.
So that lady actually helped me a lot then. So I wrote a letter. Then I started maturing. So I wrote a letter and I posted it myself, telling my dad that if he doesn't come, I'm gonna take my siblings away. We'll run away to maybe somewhere else, I don't know where. So that was what hit my dad so hard. And one evening we were eating and he just came and took us back to Accra. Yeah.
So when he came in, he asked you to pack?
He didn't even ask us to pack anything. We were eating, I remember eating with my younger ones and my auntie was there, my grandmom was there, and he just got there and held our hands like this without cleaning, washing.
Your letter?
Yeah, the letter I wrote was serious.
Very sensitive.
Very, very sensitive. So when he read it, he realized that what was going on with my kids. So he came and he was furious. He didn't even greet his own mom. So he just took, just like that, and we came to Accra. So that was how we got back to Accra.
And when you got to Accra, how different was the life?
And when we got to Accra, it was different because we were living a flashy life. We were living a very comfortable life before my mom died. So when we got back to Accra, when actually we came to where we were in a one-room apartment, I was shocked. I didn't know what was happening. So, but what could I have done? I couldn't do anything, so I was just quiet. We're living in a single room. I was disappointed in a way, but later on, I think it took some time and I understood what was going on. But my dad never told me anything about what was going on. So I adjusted to the situation. Because of what I went through in Ho earlier on, you know, I became a bit strong and surviving. So when I came back to Accra and I saw that situation, I just adjusted myself to it, and I was that. But I told myself that this is not where I want to be. I always tell myself that this community is not where I want to be. This is not where. I always tell myself, and I even sometimes get angry and tell my dad that I'm not going to live here for the rest of my life. I will leave. I'll run away. One day, I know I'm going to move out of this place. Though the place wasn't, it's not Nima. I grew up in Kotobabi. Yeah. It might not be.
But it wasn't what you wanted.
What we were growing up. And what we saw was different, totally different. So I was like, no, this is not it. This is not it. But I just stayed. Yeah.
So at what age did you start to try out all the things you told me?
Well, I went back to Maoli Secondary School. And in school, I realized that my dad wasn't visiting. And it was hard. How I even managed to come out of secondary school was a mystery. So many friends of mine helped me.
Fees?
No, sometimes they'll just come and sack me. Even when I was writing my SSC, they came and drove me out.
Wow.
Then I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't understand anything, so I got angry with myself. I was like angry, so I became so vulgar in school. At the, I think, 3rd year in Maoli school, I was a very quiet. All those who knew me then knew that I was a novice. I was a naive person. I was quiet, very quiet, yeah. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, even the teachers were amazed, the headmasters were so amazed. They called me to book when I started living some sort of life, yeah. I started
Were you running
clubbing,
out
I was running out, yes. I sometimes come to Glens, go back to school. I was a boarder.
From home?
Yeah, from home, yeah, with my friends. We come, we go back, we go to town, and whatever punishment they have to give us, they give it to me. Because they were boarders and they were day students, excuse me to say, and I was a boarder. So I took all the punishment, and the only thing that never happened to me in Maoli school, which I remember so much, was I was never deported by the grace of God. Everything was happening.
You were taking the punishment.
Yes, I was known to the point that one day I realized that I heard that they said Ascona. My name changed from Elom to Ascona. So they were calling me Queen Ascona because I was rapping and dancing. Everybody knew me to be a dancer. So they heard Ascona is going to be demonized. That day, everybody went just to confirm. Yeah, to confirm. And I and my friend were hiding in one of the bungalows, waiting. So after I saw people coming out, and I sneaked out, asking, what happened? What happened? Did anything happen? They said, nothing happened. I said, Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
So I've escaped then you knew Jesus was there?
Yes, I escaped it. I said, what? So many things were happening in the school. People were being demonized, but I had nose piercing. My nails were long like this. In school, my own nails. I was doing also, I had afro. I was stubborn. I wasn't stubborn in the sense that, but the thing I was doing was maybe, clubbing.
Yeah, being a nigger.
Being a nigger. So in school then, I remember I used to chew weed. I never smoked it. We had it in our pocket, and I would just be chewing it.
You were chewing weed in Maoli school?
In Maoli school.
You're getting high?
Yes.
Your teachers never found out?
No, because I was doing it in a way that it was always in my pocket. Yes. It got to a time when I come from Accra to school, maybe any time I come to school, I'll just lay my bed. Off I go, and you never see me in the dormitory. I'll just come with some clothes, maybe black. Come there, check what is going on, and run away.
Oh.
I was like, I was a boarder, but...
How were you learning?
Learning, I was always learning rap. I was always learning something.
Which of the rap that you learned do you still remember?
I remember one, nowadays, people they die sake of AIDS, smoking weeds.
So when you had to write your SSC,
yes,
what did you write?
I wrote something. I remember I wrote something, yes. I wrote something, yeah.
And how were the grades?
Actually, I never went back for my grades.
You didn't go for your
No, I've not been back there for my grades. And my dad, it was my dad who went there because he was a friend to the headmaster. So I don't know how he got it. So I never went back.
I'm sure when he got it, he called you and said, oh, hello, Majagba.
He didn't even call me. He didn't tell me about my grades. All that he did, when I remember then, he asked me to go and rewrite. And he registered for me, and I ran away from home again. Because actually after school, I brought all my chobos and trunk, the boxes then. I left it in front of my house, took money from all the tenants, and I left. And that was it. Yeah. I told them they should take the money from my dad. So I left home, that was it. In 2000, I remember so well.
Where did you go?
I was just on the street. I remember I was living somewhere in an uncompleted den in West Legon with my friends.
Girls?
Yes.
Doing what?
They were just chilling, clubbing, partying. We were party animals, you can call us, party animals. Anywhere there is a gig, we are there.
You said you got so depressed at a point in your life.
Yes, please.
That you had to resort to marry an elderly person. How old was your husband?
My husband now is 90 years old.
So how old were you when you got married?
I got married to him when I was 24 years.
And he was about?
78, I guess, 78, 79.
Was it love?
I dated him for 2 years, and actually when I met him, even dating, he normally comes to Ghana once a month. So I later on had a guy in the UK, and I had a baby. The guy promised to marry me, so we had an engagement, and 6 months after my delivery, the guy came back and broke up the engagement. So I became so depressed. So I took the decision, and the reason why he did that was I was a pauper. The family thought I was from a poor background, so they didn't allow him to marry me. So I got angry with myself. I got angry. Seriously, I was so much angry, to the extent that I leave my baby and go to Joker's club and dance and do all sorts of things and come back home then. So that was when I took the decision to marry the old man too. I did it to prove something. I did it to prove to my ex that they are not the only family who could travel abroad. Somebody else could do it too. And one day they are going to see where I'll end up. And I did it. I took that drastic decision. That was the most, I don't know, a decision that I took to marry that man.
Were you happy?
When I did the marriage, after court, I remember that night I cried secretly. I went behind our house and I cried. I cried because all these things that were happening, I had no mother, no mom. I had no mentor. I had nobody to talk to. So I realized that I needed somebody who could advise me, who could love me. So I cried that day and I was like, oh my, I did that marriage without the knowledge of my family, actually. My dad never knew about it, nobody knew about it. So I paid people around, about 3 people.
Contract?
Yes, I just paid people, oh, follow me, sign as my uncle, do this, you know. Yeah, that's what I did.
These are things you would hear and see in movies, right?
Yes. So I did that.
Was it not too much watching of Nigerian movies?
And before then, the person that connected me to the white man, I met him at Circle. I was selling chargers after school when I was roaming. I used to go to Circle, sit in front of the Vodafone now, and be selling.
Tiptoe.
I'll be in not tiptoe per se.
Just after you cross.
Yeah, you're not even that side. I was standing there. Then the guy met me one day and said, a beautiful girl like you, what are you doing here? I said, hey, Charlie, I need money, oh, Charlie, I'm looking for money, so that's why I'm here. He said, take my card. You can do anything for money? I said, yes, I can do anything for money except maybe prostitution then and other stuff. But I can do anything other things. So I was there one day and I picked up the card. And I called him. When I called him, I went to his house and he taught me a whole lot, and he now introduced me to what is now, no, it's not even Sakawa. Then it was 419. So I started working with him. He introduced me to some big men. Okay. So then my friends were like, I was getting a lot of money. I was saving money. They didn't know how. We can go to Boomerang. I'll sit down quietly. They'll be doing their stuff and I'll be quiet. At the end of the day, I'll go home and sleep. They didn't understand how I was getting my money. I was doing secrets 419.
You're doing fraud?
Yeah, fraud then. So that was how I even met my husband.
Were you planning to defraud him?
They had already defrauded my husband before they brought me into the picture.
Oh.
They had already finished him.
So how, I mean, what was your role?
My role, then I didn't know. I was working for them, but not knowing they were defrauding my husband with my picture. So they do all that. I don't know how they did it. So later on, I came in as in the marriage. When my friend told me that, oh, there is this man that is interested in me, because of the depression I was going through, I just decided to use that opportunity to leave the country. So I jumped into it and grabbed that opportunity. Yeah. So when I got to England, that was when I saw the MoneyGram forms and everything, a whole lot.
The amount of money he's been sending to you.
I tell you.
And you never got a pin.
A pin, yeah. And when I got there, they were still calling me to send the money. So it was like a tug of war. Yeah. And it got to a point, I think 6 months after my arrival in the UK, I confessed. I am that type. You cannot, I can't lie. I'm a plain person. I'm a liberal person, yeah. So I broke down and I confessed to my husband that boy is not my brother. He's not my brother. He's this. I said the truth because my husband even never knew I had a child. Yeah. So I had to say all that. I told him and he broke down and he said, oh, I should have told him so that the baby would have been. I said, no, my baby's father, he is well-to-do, so he's a computer analyst in UK already, so he can take care of my baby and everything is sorted at the side. So I was all right. It was later on that I never knew he had something at the back of his mind then when I told him that.
Even
you know why? You'll be scared. I never knew. After some time, after years, not knowing he had done something earlier. After when I told him that he did something.
What did he do?
He wrote a letter to the Home Office to curtail my visa. But I never knew about it. So I was in the UK working for so many years. It got to a point I had to get my permit. So I applied. When I applied, that was when I realized that he did something. So they wrote back to me that I should come to Ghana or take a lawyer to fight. And I said, no, my husband cannot do that. What he did was he got married to a Nigerian without my knowledge for a year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kokrabone.
Yeah, I don't know. The Nigerian too, I think she was an asylum. I will not blame my husband. The girl was desperate too. She met this old man. Oh, I need my paper. She was an asylum seeker with a baby. Okay. So she used the opportunity available then. I don't blame the girl then too. So it's like two black women fighting over one man. So the British authorities started fighting us rather. They started chasing us. So it's like they thought we paid the man for papers. So they chased the lady. They started chasing me, but I was like strong. I was like, I'm not going to give up. So I took a lawyer. I made a mistake by taking a Nigerian lawyer again. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to say, Nigerians, I'm sorry. So I took a Nigerian lawyer, and the lawyer was taking money. I was going to court. The court, I never even entered the court. Restoration. Anytime we get to the court, they said our case has been refused. Hold on, something refused or whatever. I'll call the lawyer and say, oh, I was on my way coming and a whole lot. So I was reporting all those while. I was reporting every Tuesday, wherever I am in the UK or Scotland or maybe Ireland, I have to come all the way.
How are you surviving within that period?
Then I had worked years and saved a lot of money. When I was with my husband, I wasn't paying any rent. Bills. He was paying me, he was giving me allowances every week. And I was saving my money. I knew the reason why I got to UK. I knew where I was coming from. And I knew why I did what I did, because I wanted to save my family, my dad and my siblings. So I was always on the go, working hard. So I saved a lot of money then. So I moved out. I got to a point that he gave me 28 days to move out, and he himself drove me to a place. and packed all my stuff there and gave me homelessness number, refugee number. I should call them for help. Yeah. So I was in the snow with my stuffs. So I called one of my...
winter?
Yeah, it was winter. So I was there shivering, and I remembered somebody in my workplace was chasing, like somebody was admiring me. So I remember that guy. I called him, they immediately said, hey, picnic. He came and packed all my stuff. So I went to live with him. So that was how I left him for a year. So from the guy's place, I went to rent my own apartment, and I was living life because I had money. But I realized that at a point in time, I realized that my money was
getting finished
because I was sending money home, taking care of my siblings and paying my rent. So I realized that my money was getting finished, but all along, my husband and I were still in contact. We are like that. We quarrel, but we still talk. And then when I was living with him, I was stubborn. I'm a crazy girl. I was clubbing and all sort of things. I leave him, go to London, do whatever I want to do and come back. And so he was getting angry with me a lot. We fight a lot, but we make up. He calls the police to arrest me within 3 days. He calls them to release me. I come home. So that's how we're living. The least fight, they come and pick me up. I go, I'll be in sales. The lawyer will come, they will start like my husband will call them and stop it. I come out again. So that's how we were. And
you said during that time your addiction for sex was crazy.
Yes, when I had the situation of being deported or removed out of the country, I was in a fix. I stopped my work because I was scared they would come to my workplace to take me out. So I stopped working, and I was always home. Sometimes I'll just pick my bag, travel to somewhere, Manchester. So I roamed the whole of UK. I was just traveling all over. I was traveling all over. So then I can just go on the internet and look for a guy. Are you coming in or out? When he comes in, I take care of you. I had money, so you just do whatever you have to do with me and you go free. Yeah.
Free?
Yeah, I never took nothing from anyone.
So yours was free prostitution?
It's not prostitution per se. I just wanted to have fun. I was depressed, so I was like, so I didn't know what it's not that I was enjoying that. Whether I was enjoying it or what was happening, I didn't know. All I knew is I was depressed because when I talked to somebody, nobody was ready to help me. And I was so depressed. So I felt like when I meet a guy, the only way I could take away my sadness and depression was to have fun. Maybe we'll go out clubbing, come drink, have sex. You spend 1 week, you go.
In your own house?
Yeah.
Where? I am struggling. Were you not worried?
I wasn't worried because when you come to my house, I'm always at the clinic. It's free condoms, you know. So I packed a lot. Like worried of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I was depressed, so then I wasn't worried. But I got to a point I got worried. And I started praying. That was where I started praying to God. I asked God, did you bring me to England to make a living for myself, or you brought me here to suffer? So I started getting worried, and sometimes I'll be in my room for 1 month without going anywhere. I can be indoors for a month without stepping out. So I started discarding. I never called anyone to come. It got to a point that I was so depressed. So I never called anyone to come. But then too, my husband
Did you ever try cocaine within that depressive?
Doing what, please?
Cocaine.
Yeah, I was doing cocaine. I was doing cocaine with my Polish friends. But luckily for me, the reason why I never went deep into it was I never allowed my own money into it. I never bought it with my own money. When they have it, they call me and I go, I go and I do mine. Then I come back home.
Some say cocaine gets you high. It makes you forget your situations.
Yes.
Did it give you that feeling?
Yeah. I guess the feeling. Mm-hmm. When I take it, I feel like there is some kind of, what I remember is I feel some sharp sensation. It's like pepperish. That's how I feel. Then all of a sudden I become okay. I become soft.
Were you looking for more than that? More than the softness?
I thank God I didn't go that far. I thank God. All along, something within me was speaking. So when I do something, the other part of me always say different thing. Mm-hmm. So I do cocaine, I come home, then I wake up, I become conscious
of what you do.
Yes. I said, God, I don't know, I don't want to go into this, I don't want to be a junkie. Then,
were you scared of being a junkie?
Yeah, I was scared of being a junkie.
And you didn't want to stop either?
It got to a point I stopped. I stopped and I took to drinking.
Okay.
I was drinking Jack Daniels. I stopped and I took to drinking. Yeah.
And you thought that one was better?
I thought that one was better, but I want to.
So at what point did you say, I've had enough? I want to become a better person?
When I came back to Ghana, when it hit me hard. After a year in the UK, more than I spent, I think I overstayed because of the situation I had. So I was reporting at this police station for another year. So 4.5 years in the UK. One day, I went back to my husband's house. I think 3 days after. Mm-hmm. Then I went to report, and on a Tuesday, then I got arrested. So when I got arrested, they gave me a form telling me the reasons why I was being removed. Mm-hmm. It was a removal, actually, so they had already booked my tickets and everything. And the date I'll be leaving, I was arrested on Tuesday, and on Saturday, I'll be going back to Ghana. So what I did was, I spoke to myself that day that I was arrested. I said, this is it. Ghana, here I come. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't worried because I had money in my account. So all I was praying for was they shouldn't take my cards, my bank cards. They only took my driving license from me, but they didn't take my bank cards. So I was like, thank you, Jesus. So all along when I was in the van, being driven to the detention center. I was at the detention center for a while before being taken back to Ghana. So when I went to the detention, I started thinking, oh God, I've been a disappointment to my dad. Though he didn't know how I got, he knew how, like he knew I had
got into the
UK, but he didn't know how I got there. So I was like, oh God, what have I done? I was thinking.
And reality began.
Yeah, to hit me in the detention center. I was like, oh God, am I coming to Ghana? Oh, so when I'm there, I'll be like, am I coming to Ghana? Then I'll realize, oh, forget about them. Shit, man. When I come to Ghana, I can move on with my life. So I was like, fucking hell. I'm not gonna forgive me for my language anyway.
You're being real.
Yeah, I'm being real. Yeah, I was like, I'll be in the van. It was about 3 hours journey, almost 4 hours to the detention center. So I'll sleep for 30 minutes, then I'll wake up. Oh, so I'm coming to Ghana. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Leave them alone, foolish people. Then I'll sleep again till I got to the detention center. So when I got to the detention center, after registering and everything, you know, they have to check your everything. Then they gave me a room. So I entered my room and I was happy. At the detention center, I was like, oh, freedom. I was like, how come I'm happy in this place? I went out for dinner that evening. I met Ghanaian community, a lot of Ghanaians. I was happy. I felt at home at the detention center. I don't know how. I felt at home. So I think the Saturday, then I called my lawyer, and he said I had to pay him £5,000 for him to stop the plane from taking me away. Like, there's something they have to do. But when he said that to me that day, I insulted him. And I blasted him and I hung up on him. I said, "You are a thief." I insulted him. "You are a criminal." And I hung up on him that day. So there was this lady at the detention center who was helping other people to find solicitors for, So she helped me a Friday before the Saturday that I was being removed. She wrote everything she could. She sent the letters, she faxed it to the Ghana High Commission for help everywhere that we could. It got to 5 p.m., no reply. So I now went to the Catholic. I remember I went to the, how do you call it? One of the church room, the Catholic church. I entered there and I said, "God, this is it. It is your will for me to go back to Ghana." I think so. So I was in the church. So my friends came and they said, "Oh, so you are leaving us?" "You're leaving." I said, "Yeah, I think it's the will of God, so don't cry." They were crying. I said, "Oh, I think it's the will of God." They said, No. Your husband is wicked. Yeah, they were insulting my husband. And I said,
they didn't know.
He didn't help me. And I said, no, I knew what the detriment of what he has done. He did something years ago, and the thing...
Let's come back.
Yeah, so that was what happened to me. So I came back to Ghana.
Restoration.
How did you begin life in Ghana?
Wow. I thank God. When I got back to Ghana, it was terrible. I was going through a lot of depression. You can understand how I was living in the UK and when I go back here. And the worst thing is I go back to the same community that I left.
Kotobabi.
So it hit me so bad. I got depressed. I became something else. I became like an animal. I wake up in the morning, I'm shouting. I'm shouting on my dad because I had rented an apartment then before I got back. So I was living with them. So I was like, every day I'm shouting, every day. I tried going back to America, but I was duped. So I just sought to get in my own business. So I started something small. I started doing maybe plastics and provisions. I started with my own business, something small, and I started building up on it. Yeah.
And you said with time you had a pub.
Yeah, I had a pub, yeah.
Yeah, and she told me that her pub was like the most sinful place to be.
Yeah.
Because she was selling everything, and everything was happening there.
Yeah. It's like that pub is something. Anything was happening there. Maybe people were smoking weed and everything. Everything was happening there. Yeah.
And you got fulfillment that at least you were doing something.
Yeah,
with your life.
I was so fulfilled that I was doing something. I was so happy with working. Yeah, I was so fulfilled. But whenever I close from work and I come home, I cry a lot. I told myself, this is not where I want to be. I don't know, because I drink a lot. I can drink 2 bottles of wine and add other stuff to it. So I was drinking.
And you still be pepe?
Yeah, I sometimes go, yeah, I'll drink, I'll come back home, cry, and I was going through a lot of depression. A lot.
At what point did you turn to God?
I turned to God. A guy that I was dating there took me to TB Joshua at the Spintex Road. So when I got there, I got delivered. And it's like something cleared off me. So when I came back home, I started doing my homework, working on myself. So I decided that let me go to Nigeria. So I went to Nigeria to TB Joshua. I was delivered there. I came back and I was like, okay, I became
a new creature.
Yeah, I was going to church and everything. Everything was all right with me. 7 months after, I went back to my shop. Everything changed.
Detroit.
Yes. It was even worse than
before.
Drinking, yes, smoking weed.
Now you were doing 2 bottles of wine. You were now doing 6.
Maybe.
She said it got worse.
Yeah, like I knew it got worse because I was drinking every day. Every day.
You started doing weed.
Yeah, I was doing weed. Weed, you knew I was
from
chewing
the pockets,
chewing.
So, and I started smoking.
Smoking it, yes. I started smoking weed. So I realized it was terrible. I knew I was getting to a point. I knew I was going off because it got to a time when I smoked the weed. Then it's like I'm fighting in my brains. You have to choose one. Are you going to get mad or you die? Between madness and death. So I was fighting. Whenever I smoked the weed, I was fighting in my brains. So it got to a time, that was where I decided, by the grace of God, to quit the smoking. Yeah.
So nobody helped you, you just decided?
I decided by myself, and by the grace of God. Everything went with the grace of God. I didn't do it. But everything you have, if you have an addiction, you have to decide. You have to take that bold step before you add the grace of God to it. Without the Spirit of God, you can't do it. You go back again to it. Yeah. So I started praying over it. I started working on myself. I assessed myself. So one day, I remembered everything started. I was still dating. I never wore my wedding ring anyway when I got back to Ghana. So I was dating. Yeah. I was doing whatever. And I was in a guy's room one day. Then one dawn, there was this prayer going on every dawn that he does. He will call me, I will insult him. I don't care, whatever he's doing, she fuck off. One evening, one dawn, I woke up and he was praying, and it hit me so bad. I also knelt down and I started praying, and all that the pastor was talking about was like in tune
to you.
Yeah. So that was where I broke down, and I told God that I have to quit everything, including the guy that I was dating. Yeah. So I stopped having sex with him, and he never understood why. I said, you don't know, you will not understand. I was telling him, you will never understand. So I started attending church, listening to the word of God more, studying the Bible. And by the help of one of my pastors, with prayers, I have one pastor that he has been helping me a lot. He's called Pastor Emmanuel. And he's in the crowd right now.
Where's Pastor Emmanuel?
Pastor Emmanuel is here.
Pastor Emmanuel,
he has helped me a lot, yeah.
God bless you.
With advice and everything, prayer, warfare prayers and everything. He's always on my toes, yeah. He has helped me a lot. So it took me through all that. And I started attending programs. I'll go for this program. I'll go here, listen to this preaching, note things down, come home, work on myself. I was doing that to build myself because I didn't want to. So it got to a point, sex was out of my life.
Wow, alcohol, you were able to stop it.
What I did was actually I prayed. When I'm praying, I tell God to seize my desire for that. Yes. And now you are such an evangelist. I mean, on Facebook, I'm a soul winner.
Yeah, you're a soul winner. And when you talk about it, people will not understand.
Yeah.
But now hearing her story, it makes a lot of sense. She's seen it, done it. She's done it all. There are certain things you do not even have the liver to try. She's done it. And she's telling you that it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Put it down. Jatoho. Is that not what you're saying?
Yes.
Because God is amazing. God is awesome.
Thank you.
And He's the only one who can take you to the place that you so much desire to be. Sometimes we desire to be at certain places, but it's not in God's plan for us.
Yeah.
our timing, we think our timing is great, but I always say our timing is useless.
You can never run.
It's only God's time that is perfect. Ours is useless. Because I can decide that I want to do it, but if it's not God's time, He won't let it happen.
Yes.
So I'm really proud of you. And it takes a lot of strength to come out to tell the world.
I knew what I've been through, and I knew how God saved me. He rescued me. He knew who, I think God wanted me. He knew who I was going to be. So He said, my child, my daughter. You know, I was sleeping when I heard the name, the Zionist. I woke up out of the sleep and I wrote the name down. I said, oh, I started laughing in my room. I said, what is this? So I wrote
Queen Ascona
to the Zionists.
To the Zionists.
So I started, I laughed. I laughed. And I said, what is this name? So I laughed and I took my Bible. I was reading it. Then I went to the dictionary. I said, but this is the Zionist and this. Okay, I said, okay, I'm a daughter of Zion.
The Zionists and Ascona, they don't meet.
Yes. I said,
because God gave you a new name.
I tell you. So I was like, oh, God is telling me something. God is telling me something. And I'm going to use this to help people, to encourage people, to transform lives, I'll preach the gospel. I'll make sure those who are lost will be brought back to book. I'll help them. And there are so many people out there who are going through depression. It's not their own. There are so many people out there, out of not getting a job, they do silly stuff. There are so many people out there going through a lot of stress. The economy is taking people to an extreme. People are lost in the system. Young girls are going through a lot. Young boys are going through a lot. Those things are causing a lot of sakawa and stuff in the systems and prostitution. And now you can see that ladies are a bit cheap. Sorry to say. They're easy. At first, it's very difficult to see an African lady, especially Ghanaians, to talk about even sex or something. We always pretend, but now, everybody can do anything, yes, they like.
Alon, thank you so much for coming. And I know a lot of young people are watching you and are picking lessons from what you just shared with us. And you do not have to really wait to go through all that Alon went through, because you might not have her kind of strength to stand it. So if she's telling you, who better tells you than the person who has experienced it? So Alon, before I let go of you, I have a little something for you from our sponsors.
I have a word.
Yes.
For the people out there.
Yes, please let them.
Matthew chapter 6 verse 33. That is my motive. Seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all other things shall be added unto you. Please, seek first. Do not run faster than God. Run for God. That's my advice.
God bless you.
Bless you too.
So this is yours.
Oh, thank you very much.
That is a verse I like so much, but most Christians, we forget to do the seeking.
About that. Now we are seeking hands. We are seeking prophecies and miracles and stuff. But the word, we're forgetting the word. Yeah.
I'll say God bless you so much.
God bless you too.
I know we'll be seeing you a lot more. And I think everybody on Facebook.
You follow me on Facebook, Ashlorm Ade. On Facebook, then you will see what I do. I have this conscious Christian movement called the Zionist Crazy for Christ. Everybody is free to join the group.
Wow.
And I help people who are depressed now. I talk to people, the lost ones.
Can I see the t-shirt?
Yes,
so
it's a special.
So you do the funding yourself?
Yes, everything. I do it by my own.
Wow.
And this is a special one for...
Are you kidding me? Oh, I love it. Wow. I have to wear this one. No, I'm wearing it now. Wow, I love it. Can I get more?
Yeah,
with different pictures?
Yes, all right. I'll pick up your pictures from... Okay. I know the nice one. I know where to get them, yeah.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yes. Yeah, so that's me. So now,
Wow.
one of you.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Zionists. We are all daughters and sons of Zion. So we are all Zionists. So everybody is free to get a t-shirt.
Wow.
So if you want it, you tell me and I'll give you one.
You just do it.
Yes, I'll do
God
it for you.
bless you.
You can have your own picture and have the Zionist label behind. Yeah.
Behind.
Yes.
Wow. I love it. I love mine. Thank you so much. God really bless you. I'm saying a very big thank you to La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, to Special Ice Mineral Water and Special Drinks, to Yas Washing Powder and Yas Sanitary Pad, of course to GTP. Thank you so much. And to Ophelia of ABS Collection, thank you very much for my outfit. To Elom, thank you very much for my t-shirts. This is my super design of the year. My GTP there and my Zionist t-shirts on top.
From heaven.
I'm telling you. Also say thank you very much to Nancy Black for my makeup, my Uju. I really, really appreciate you. And to Jemima of Roji One Hair Studio Kokompe Eye Clinic. Thank you so much, Jemima. My studio audience, you are amazing. All of you, come chop kisses. Thank you. So I'll see you same time next week. Always do remember you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Yes.
To the end of the tunnel, I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you. There is hope for the tired and weary. Open your eyes and you will see the perfect friend in me. This is where to share it all. A common place for one and all. Let's hold each other's hands and stand tall. Set yourself free.